going to talk about big breaking bombast regarding Newcastle and Man City potentially being removed from the Premier League after a bill legislation is going to be passed in the Parliament. That is the big breaking bombast today. So how you all doing? Stretch your arms, limbs, and legs, and you know what to do. This is free content, of course, and I am Mick Ruby, your host this morning. This is Mufc Realist TV. Smash that like and subscribe if you're...
And Garnacho!
Has the Premier League ever been more challenging?
Will you be in the dugout at Old Trafford on Sunday? I will be here. Definitely.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah. Guys, so beautiful of you for tuning in. Koji is here as well. Guys, don't forget to like that button. Like that button. In all fairness and the crumbling of Man City, right? We all seen it. The one flew over the cuckoo nest. The Pep Guardiola. I scratched my nose. Why? Like that guy has totally lost it, right? What's going on here in the Premier League as well? It is what's going to happen here. We have a post there from a couple of days ago. The Premier League versus Manchester City 115 charges trial is due to wrap up next month. This means this December, though, coming. The hearings currently paused as two sides preparing to closing arguments, which will begin early to mid-December. Kojo, that means that Premier League is fast-tracking this 100%. 100%. And another breaking story that kind of flew under the radar yesterday during the game was breaking news here for Centre Devils to say breaking: Man City and Newcastle owners face forced removal from English football. What is this all about? Have you sort of heard this before?
Yeah, so I've been reading up on it as well. So there's a Labour minister who's made a very fair point, saying clubs shouldn't ever be state owned, and they're gonna have to go through new tests. Yeah, if this bill is passed, you have to go through another sort of test just to ensure that you're not state-owned, because clubs like City and Newcastle will say that they're owned by a company or an individual, but those individuals and those companies run states. Okay. So just point blank simple. So they're going to go through thorough checks if that's allowed. Now, my doubt is I don't think this will go through, because we all know already that these guys have a lot of influence within government. So, peddling.
Yeah, they want to get rid of peddling.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go over this article in detail. Centre Devils published last night. It was a bomb by Manchester City and Newcastle United on its face force removal from English football. They could be changed if they don't change ownership due to a regulatory charge. So yeah, it's 100% what you're saying here. It's one of the Parliament. Labour peer Lord Bassam of Brighton has proposed amendments to the football government's bill, which would have a massive implication for the two Premier League sides. The proposal is to ban state-controlled clubs from English football, introducing a new independent regulations for the sport. City and Newcastle would have to change their ownership if the bill is accepted and passed in Parliament to continue competing in England. The amendment set to affect Manchester City and Newcastle is the big headline. The Labour peer has submitted the paper to the House of Lords, which would prevent sovereign wealth funds and government ministers from any country owning an English football team. Interesting. The amendment to legislate reads: no state-controlled club may granted an opening license, and any affected club must satisfy the IFR, independent football regulatory, that they have divested themselves of their state control before applying for opening license. So basically saying no state, right? What you're saying here. A state-controlled club is one which wholly majority owned by individuals and titles, or entities controlled by individuals who are deemed by IFR or the Secretary of State by influence any state actor. So Man City and owned by Sheikh Mansour, we know that, and Newcastle is owned by Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, PIF. However, in practice, the paper would be backed by MPs in the House of Commons, which only can happen if the government agree to it. Sources close to Parliament suggest the bill is unlikely to be passed. However, suggestions of the ban has been put forward to other Premier League teams in the past as well. So this could be a massive push, Kojo. I just wondering, why are they doing that? Like, is there something had to do with the city 115, or is it just, listen, we are tired of this. You are changing the football, and government stepping in to say to protect the English Premier League legacy, right? Or, I mean, fair enough, we have foreign investors, but state-owned, they say no state-owned, because you look at Abu Dhabi, UAE, you look at Saudi, they're investing a lot of, in infrastructure in UK, building stuff like that. Maybe they're trying to be influenced.
I genuinely think it's to do with the fact that we've had quite a lot of weird ownership deals in the past that have now come into in this time would be made illegal. Like, for example, when we were taking over with leveraged debt, now, if that was happening now, that wouldn't be able to go through. It shouldn't have gone through in 2005, but it wouldn't go through now. And the way City and Newcastle have been taken over and have been able to almost, manipulate their finances.
But wasn't it something with Newcastle dodgy takeover that was recently dug up as well, which was dodgy? The way it was taken over, leaked emails and stuff like that. That is what it's all about, City and Newcastle. Exactly,
because they find weird loopholes to take deals on, and they manipulate their books. So they're not naturally. This is the part of the reason why Newcastle City have the 115 charges, because they've been cooking their books. They've been doing weird things behind the scenes, signing weird deals with companies that are owned by their own owners, and
We've seen Aston Villa is backing City. We've seen the Newcastle is backing City because they, Aston Villa is owned by an Egyptian billionaire that's got really doing business with PIF in Saudi, XYZ. So it's they're backing each other. You got Rose. Let's say make the change stick, and the worst imaginable happens to City. What is stopping their owners from not trading with the UK as a country? Because that is where we will head. This is pretty much what I'm saying. Look, you can't get away with cheating. I mean, City tried with the sports over arbitration in Lucerne, Switzerland. There was something called time bar stamping, which means that you can appeal until that piece of evidence is no longer valid. It's like 8 years, right? But here in the Premier League, which is an independent investigation body, you cannot appeal. So if you look at Everton, who else got done by points deduction? It was Everton, and I think it was Forest as well, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So they collaborated and still got points deduction. City so far have been not collaborating. And if you have 115 charges, if we go back to what the original statement was, the tweet, to say that they will resume Premier League versus Man City, they will resume 150 charges next month, meaning they're taking currently recess, and they're preparing for the two sides to prepare closing arguments, which means defense and the prosecution, which will begin early to mid-December. So when you have a closing arguments, that means we are getting close to a verdict. In certain sense. And this has been kind of hush, not really leaked out to the public. There's been a lot of journalists. I saw Mike Keegan also saying may not take place until the end of next season. May. When they say may, that means that they're speculating. Nobody really knows. But what we do know is that UEFA handed over all the evidence to them. So there is a smoking gun.
There is, absolutely. And I'm looking forward to seeing the end result, hopefully the right result. So the fairest result, if they are guilty, you've got to charge them the appropriate way they should be charged.
Yeah. And they will be stripped off all the titles as well. Now, guys,
if there is, so that means Mourinho and Ole might get the title in for us. see how they deal with that one. Sorry, I've been called for a meeting again, so I'm gonna have to run. But,
wicked. Thank you, Kojo. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you, Kojo. Thank you. Smash the like for Kojo. And just somebody that's taking a bench out of it.
20.
20.
20. 20, we done 20.
Rio Ferdinand taking the piss out of the situation. It's not 19, it's 20. He's taking direct pop to City. because if City gets relegated, they will be stripped down all the titles. That means the Man United will do 20.
I used to love coming here and winning. Oh, what a feeling walking off when you win here.
He's taking the piss.
Looking at their fans in the eyes. And they've got veins coming out their neck wanting to scream at you. Oh, nostalgia.
20. We're done 20. We've done 20 and City has done 115 people. Thank you so much for tuning in, beautiful people. Thank you. This has been Mick Ruby here on the Friday Vibe Morning Brew, and a special guest, Coach Kojo, came in. For everyone that's tuned in, and if you're watching this in retrospective, there's only one thing you can do to help this community and this lovely channel to grow, and that is, you know what to do. And that's about it for today, guys. Hope you have a lovely, lovely, lovely remaining of the Friday. We should see you on Sunday as we take on Everton. Will there be a win? Will there be a different level? Level 3 now with Ruben Amorim's sister. And of course, I think Ruben is having his press conferences day. If we are going to cover that, we will let you know. But do not forget to hit that notification button and make it personal so you never miss us go live. Thank you so much. Have a lovely rest of your Friday and ask yourself, are you happy? I am.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching Mufc Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.